Thank you for coming to this afternoon's content level meeting. I have a presentation I wanted to share with you as a special education teacher at Watson Chapel. This is a collaboration for special education service delivery to Watson Chapel School District. It's a presentation on how the school services their special education population. It is presented by me, your teacher, your special education teacher, WITTKE. The Chapel School District is, of course, located at 4100 Camden Road in Pine Bluff. We serve 2,354 students altogether. The breakdown is Edgewood Elementary has 318, L.L. Owens 412, Colvin Intermediate has 508 students, the junior high has 581 students, and the high school serves 535 students. Out of all of those students, 230 are on an IEP. Of course, this is my home. Collaboration, it is the action of working with someone to produce or create something. So, how do we collaborate? Well, oftentimes, we team up with others, correct? That's why I have this up here. It says teamwork makes the dream work. Working together to create a better Watson Chapel School District or junior high. Some of the teams that you may or may not be aware of is the building leadership team. The purpose of the building leadership team is it's made up of administrators and teachers, lead teachers, who are committed to seeing a difference in their school, and the team discusses the needs of the building and brainstorms for solutions. Building leadership team members, if you do not know, of course, is our administration level, Ms. Wilson, Ms. Cage, Ms. Gordon, who is our recorder, Ms. Bruce, who is our timekeeper and also math facilitator. Ms. Sanders is our curriculum specialist, Ms. Dutton is our ELA facilitator, Ms. Newby is an ELA chair, Mr. Lewis is science, Jackson's the math chair, Ms. Gates is social studies chair, Ms. Cannon is the vocations chair, and myself, I'm the special education chair. The WITTKE Collaboration team is another team that we utilize here at the chapel, at the junior high. The purpose of the WITTKE Collaboration team is to create the culture and climate of the school. The team members of this organization is Ms. Prater, Ms. Stalker, Coach Sergeant Stalker, Ms. Mosier, Mr. Lewis, Ms. Newby, and Mr. Smith. They go around and they go in our rooms, they observe and give us feedback, kind of help us along the way if you're struggling, give you some pointers. We also have a response to intervention team. Our response to intervention team is made up of our building administrators, Mr. Neal, and Ms. Smith, the counselor. The purpose of RTI is to quickly identify students who demonstrate an academic or behavior need and provide targeted and systematic interventions to those students. That's RTI, is the three-tiered levels that we follow. The first tier is interventions done in the classroom. That goes for academic and behavior. That's that PBIS forms that we have, or it's reteaching skills. Second tier is more intensive interventions that we utilize. PBIS, the tier 2 is like behavior contracts, parent conferences, maybe some other counseling services coming in. And then tier 3, of course, on the behavior side, usually is ALE, alternative learning education. Whereas in the academic side of RTI, it is, when we get to tier 3, that's when we have the more intensive, we pull out the students and kind of working one-on-one with those students. After tier 3 interventions, they are recommended for special education. We start the testing process then. That's just a little bit more. The retention team is made up of Ms. Newby and Ms. Smith, and their purpose is to ensure that students who are at risk for failing are being placed into credit recovery classes. They have a lot of communication to the parents at this. They have communication prior, but they're really focusing on and touching base with the parents more often once the students are in credit recovery. Parents are notified throughout that semester how their students are doing, and the main goal is to have these students matriculate to the high school. Content level teams, of course, is what we have here. Our content level that we teach: math, science, language arts, social studies, and vocation and fine arts. The team members that always are there are Miss Sanders, Miss Bruce, and Miss Dutton. And then, of course, depending on your content area. Our English language arts team members, we have displayed here on the board, including their chair. Co-teaching at Watson Chapel, 2 is better than 1. Co-teaching at Watson Chapel, this is the first year we've done co-teaching. At Watson Chapel, because we were so new, we sought out an outside source, and we are doing boundless learning through the Johns Hopkins University. We've received training through the summer, and we've received ongoing training throughout the school year. Currently, co-teaching is only in the ELA classrooms and math classrooms, and your co-teaching teams are Mr. Neal and myself, Ms. Knight and myself, and English 9th grade newbie and myself. And with the math department, you have Ms. Horace and Walker and Mr. Logan Walker. Ms. Horace and Ms. Walker also do 2 grade levels of co-teaching. I know that there is a desire to expand to other grades for co-teaching and eventually, hopefully, into other content areas. So if you teach a science or a social studies, hopefully one day you can have a co-teacher coming in and helping you guys out. Collaborating with parents in the Chapel District. The ways that we often collaborate with our parents is through the usual routes. We have phone calls, we text, we have the Remind app, we have parent-teacher conferences. We also include our parents on building leadership teams. Parents are involved in IEP meetings, they're involved in our retention process, and in RTI. Watson Chapel also hosts throughout the year orientation nights, data nights, parent-teacher conferences, PTA meetings, as well as booster clubs through our athletic programs. The athletic program also has a parent night during our last home game. So every basketball season, when it's the last home game, they always have a parent night, and the same thing for baseball and football. Paraprofessionals are utilized at Watson Chapel. We have one that covers virtual Arkansas, Ms. Colson, and then we have Ms. P who does remediation with students that are at risk. Special education department also has paraprofessionals. They usually push in with students in classrooms that are not resourced or don't have a co-teaching. So they have a parahead that goes in with them to help out. Students are referred, evaluated, and placed in special education. When students are struggling academically, we start the RTI process I talked about earlier. And once we go through those tiers, we start having referral conferences. The evaluation time period is 60 days. And after evaluation is completed, there's 30 days to hold the conference. So a total of 90 days is what you're looking at when you're referring a student for RTI. If you've never referred a student to RTI, I know it gets really disheartening because you're like, this child needs help. Why is he still in my room? This is the reason why. It's a process. I know our principal has spoke heavily on how processes work at our school. The RTI is a process. We want to make sure the students get the help they need. However, we do not want students in special education that truly do not need to be there. In order to refer a student to special education, if you find that a student might slip through the cracks, that can happen at the junior high level, please contact me or Ms. Walker or Ms. Dunn. She will be glad to help you with the process. Related service providers for our students to be successful. These are some services that are provided through the district that's not necessarily me or Ms. Walker. We do have Jenkins Memorial Center. They provide physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy. We actually have a speech language pathologist this year, and she is Kimberly Fox-Stats. Community-based service providers, we have the Jenkins Memorial Center. Jenkins is very heavy in our district. We utilize them quite a bit. They provide, of course, therapies such as occupational, speech, and physical, but they also work all the way into adulthood. They provide adult programs. They help train adults so that they can have employment. They also have their own housing called Chapel Pines, if you've ever heard of that. Another is for family counseling and mental health. We often utilize the PAC Center. You've often seen PAC counselors on campus talking to students. They are located off of Laurel Street, and the PAC Center provides behavior management, substance abuse, cognitive and behavior therapy, and family counseling. There's also the Southeast Arkansas Behavioral Healthcare System located off of Bright Drive. They also provide the same services. What's interesting about them is they have same-day access. So if you're having a moment of mental health crisis and you know I'm at my wit's end, I need help today, you can usually get the help today. Area vocational rehabilitation, they help disabled adults, usually 17, 18-year-olds. They train them for gainful employment so that they can go on to lead productive lives as well. Our representative is Sheila Johnson, and she is over off of 28th Street.
Excuse me, teachers. All participants that would love to work out to Zumba.
Jenkins Memorial also provides early childhood, which is birth to 5 years of age. Oftentimes with students with special needs, they don't receive services through the district until they reach kindergarten. So if you've ever wondered, well, what happens if these students are born with cognitive or delayed disabilities? We do have providers. For Jenkins, of course, is there. We've talked about what they provide. We also have Kids First. It's located in Pine Bluff as well, over off 34th Street. They provide day habilitation. They provide treatment such as physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy. They work with students that are delayed. They tailor lessons to them. It's more prescriptive so that they can develop appropriately. That is it.